Yeah, there's holidays. Yeah.
They come fast and furious. You get kind of used to the schedule. I got to say the 3 or 4 day week work.
It's tough to enunciate.
The 3 or 4 day work week agrees with me.
Yeah.
It's like in a bad way.
I got out of bed. I was like, why are you still here? Looking at my kid. Like, don't you have somewhere to be? Like, school? I don't know. What are you doing?
I've sort of described my daughter's high school and the delicate care with which the state of Pennsylvania takes her education, but it's like so many days. It's crazy. Like, they don't have a spring break actually, but that's weird. Like, they're doing like midterms, so they were off yesterday because of the holiday, and then she got up today. She just went to school, and I was like, "So how long?" And it's midterms, so I'm like, "How long?" I'm like, "You're gonna have a half day today?" And she's like, "Actually, I'm only gonna be there for 90 minutes." I was like, "Are you gonna be okay?"
You'll soldier through.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, soldier through. So, Paul, I have made a purchase since we've talked last. It involves a television. Oh, I need to pull up this individual's name. I need to pull it up.
Ask a follow-up question, but go on.
Because, are you familiar with the website Slick Deals?
I am.
So,
move quick.
What's that?
You got to move quick. It was like a deal.
You do.
The day.
You do. And I won't say his last name, but Vic, V-I-C, sent me a very nice message on the Twitters. And they had a 65-inch OLED.
Wasn't
LG
Vic
TV.
Andrade, was it? Former Microsoft and Google. No.
And so the original MSRP of this TV is like $24.99.
Yeesh. Wow.
Yep. I got it for $16.99.
Yeah.
So that's
a lot of money, but that's
it was like $120 more than the 55-inch version. Now here's the caveat to all this. I hope it arrives.
Yep.
Because it came through Google Shopping, and then you had to enter in a bunch of different like codes. Like, if anybody's not familiar with Slick Deals, they're like pretty much insane deals, but they're whatever.
You gotta work for it.
Yeah, you got to work for it. You got to use coupon codes, and if you navigate all the right beacons, you get a good deal usually. And so this is shipping from a place actually in New Jersey. It's called buydig.com, which supposedly is pretty legit based on my 5 minutes of Googling, and they have a storefront, they have a phone number, they have
a store full of stuff that fell off the back of a truck.
Apparently. And it says it's new inbox, and it should arrive, according to Google Shopping, it's supposed to arrive Monday. So that is the downside, is it takes like 10 days to get here. But
yeah, whatever. I mean,
I don't quite need it yet. It was a good weekend.
You weren't going to buy it at Best Buy and use it that day anyway. So
right.
Yeah, good.
So we'll see if it arrives and how it is. I wasn't necessarily planning. I was like, oh god, like that's free shipping too. So it's
great. Nice.
Yeah. That was
nice.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll find out. We'll find out. How was your weekend, Paul?
It was very good. Thank you for asking.
Good. Moving on.
Yeah. Well, no, remember before the weekend I was talking about trying to figure out the printing thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did that ahead of schedule, actually, on Saturday. And by I mean Charles Patzel, programming legend, Microsoft Press, et cetera, et cetera. But I had to, like I said, Windows Forms printing is broken. He says as much in his book, which is based on C#. And the printing stuff, the code is so long, And by the way, I mean, not ironically, coincidentally, I guess throughout the course of this book, he also makes a Notepad clone. I found out about that very late in the game. I didn't copy what he did or anything, which you can tell just by looking at it. But I did copy the printing part of it. I had to convert the C# code to Visual Basic, and that involved a couple of complexities. But finally, I said, screw it. I just need this thing to work. Everything I'm trying is only partially working. And it seems to work. So I'm so happy to wash my hands of that little nightmare.
Yeah.
But because we had free time, Sunday we went to IKEA, and
that's right. I saw your post on this. I have questions. Go on.
Yeah, I had visited an IKEA sometime in the past year, and they have little demo stations set up, actually kind of all over the store, really. But right in the beginning, there's a nice demo station for those Sonos speakers that they have, and you can you can play a couple of different songs, and you can switch between the speakers. You can go one speaker, two speakers, each kind of speaker, etc. Totally non-scientific, I would say. These things are roughly equivalent to Sonos One, I think.
Yeah.
I've since read reviews where people are like, yeah, it's not quite as good as Sonos One. It's like, okay, yeah, I don't know, whatever. But the nice thing about the speakers, there's two kinds. There's one that's built into a lamp. I actually think that one's a little uglier, and I don't need a lamp, but it's a cool idea. And the other one, they call them bookshelf speakers. They're really rectangular, and they have a bracket you can put on the wall, so you can mount them right on the wall. And they're actually designed to be like a little shelf, so you could put books on them or a little plant or something. The place we're using them, and I guess the places we would use them in the future as well, won't accommodate that. But it seems like a nice idea. Like it's nicely done. It's Sonos quality hardware for sure. Sonos quality sound, obviously. Sonos
It's like half the price too. They're like $100 or something.
Yeah, $100 a piece. Like it's a good price. One of the issues we have in this house is we don't know how long we're going to be here. And, maybe this year will be a little bit of a reckoning on that, because we had been saying for a while, depending on where my daughter goes to school. I almost said sister there. I think of her as my sister. She's such a, she is like a sister. She's a pain in the ass. Anyway, I don't want to, mount things and, do stuff and whatever. So we're just, I think for now, we're just kind of placing them on the countertops in the kitchen, and they sound awesome in that room. And I think the problem with the sunroom, the reason the Sonos ones didn't work out, is because it's not like it's an enormous room. It is a big room, but it's a really tall room. Like the ceiling's like 15 feet tall. And I think those little speakers, you kind of put them down on the ground or on a little stand or something, and I think they just get lost in that space. But in a room like the kitchen, or this room, which is really a dining room, which is small, or the living room, which is kind of long but not very deep, those kinds of speakers would work well. So this has kind of opened up something. So, I mean, I sort of felt like I was snowballing towards Sonos, regardless. I mean, I'm still going to test the AirPlay thing. In fact, that's all set up now. I'm going to test the Amazon version, which is like I think it's called Echo Input, a way to get their stuff onto dumb speakers. But I do feel like I'm really tunneling toward Sonos, and I had that conversation with my wife, like, you have to, like, got to go buy the first regulator, just kind of put the idea in her head. We're going to be spending some money. But I wanted to ask you, because I know you bought, I think you bought sound bars, 2 of them, if I remember correctly, and they were Sonos, right? Yeah. Now, which one did you buy? Because they actually have like 3 different versions.
Well, they got, I think 2. But
well,
they
2 sound bars and 1 sound base, which I would.
No, you're right. You're right. So there's the play bar, which is I wouldn't recommend that to anyone. Mostly, not that it doesn't sound good.
That's the cheaper one.
No, it's the bigger one actually.
Okay.
It's very old. Like they haven't.
Oh, okay.
They haven't.
So that's the one that's like $700.
Yeah, they haven't refreshed that thing. It's probably on its way out. Maybe we don't know. But it's.
I know that. Yeah, you never know with the Sonos stuff.
Right, you never know when it's going to go out. But it's very old. Okay. It does sound better, but it's old. So we have the beams, which are the smaller ones that are
$399.
Yeah, which I bought a bunch of them on Black Friday because they were conveniently $299.
Yeah, right. If I had known.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's
would you
we have.
Are you using them yet?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so do you use them by themselves, or do you have like additional Sonos?
So in the bedroom, it's by itself. In our upstairs living room, it's the beam with a sub, and then downstairs.
This is a Sonos sub.
Yeah.
Which is it's pretty expensive. Is that $500 or $600, something like that?
Unless you find it on open box, which is how I got my first one for like $400 something.
Okay.
Because
it's like kind of a giant cube with a hole in the middle kind of thing. Yeah.
Because I walked into Best Buy.
Stephen Bank has one. I think with a home swap.
Walked into Best Buy like 2 years ago, and they had one open box, and I was like, done. Like,
yep.
And then I bought one on Black Friday as well.
Okay.
For the basement.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So do you ever do you do any rare like 5.1?
I don't have a 5.1 setup yet. The basement will be. I keep pointing this way because it's right on the other side of that wall, is where the 5.1 will go.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be very interested in your experience with that. So
Yeah.
I'm also curious. I mean, because it's actually really useful that you have just the sub and then the sub plus sorry, not just the sub, just the, what's it called? The
Beam.
sound, the beam,
Yeah.
and a sub. So the difference between the two, noticeable.
So yes and no. Like it's hard to tell because I'm just like when we watch it in the bedroom, it's usually just like honestly, I'm like half conscious. When you watch a movie, it makes a big difference.
Yeah. Okay.
Like that's.
Do you ever use that technology they have to like isolate voices and stuff?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It works well.
Okay.
Yep. So I mean,
Well, my mind is kind of reeling with this stuff now because like these have worked out. These are kind of like the gateway drug to Sonos.
Oh, they
right?
are.
So
That's why they do it.
So cheap. And we have I couldn't find the exact. It's funny. I went to the IKEA website and they have like TV media stands, like 580 different versions. And I was scrolling through. I'm like, why can't I find the one I bought? But all I have is it's just a little. It's nothing special. But the point is, it's black. And I was thinking I could get 2 black speakers, Sonos speakers of some kind. Either these things I got at IKEA, which I could never pronounce, Symphonics or something.
Yeah.
Actually, that's probably how you pronounce it, Symphonics. It's funny. Anyway, it's like
this is what Paul does every day. He just sits in the corner and pronounces words and laughs.
Yeah. Well, no, you see, you know how they write things, right? It's like SYM. You know. Anyway, that's funny. It's really weird how that just worked out. And then I'm like, well, geez, you know, like we had a soundbar briefly. We bought a really cheap one. It didn't work out, but Sonos, you know, I kind of went down this path, and I was like, man, you're like, this could really transform this thing.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's going to cost, you know,
it's not cheap. That's why
$1,200 or something. But I bet my wife would be all over this. Honestly, I mean, assuming the money was there, just to because you know we watch movies, like we watch like we do watch TV, like so that's interesting. Yeah, these things really worked out.
Yeah. I mean,
and you can use them as you would any Sonos speaker, so they can be rears, and if you want to use them with the beam and the sub and everything, they do work that way.
Yeah, I don't the price point is real attractive. And anybody who's listening to this, just be very careful. It's a gateway drug, right? You can go buy one, and you're like, oh, I can just go buy one more. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, now I'm in. Like, I might as well buy this. It's terrible. It's terrible, but they're very convenient.
I'm still struggling. You know, there's another part of this thing for me because the whole house audio thing, and which is really an audio thing, which is really gets into other areas like the music service. You know, like one of the things I'm not a fan of with Google Play Music is because I review phones. Like, I'll get in 4, 5, 6 phones this year, and I'll put my music on each one of them, and it takes up like they have like a slot. You can only have 5 or 10 or whatever it is, and then you can only remove like 3 a year. And every year I run into this limit, and I have to sit on the phone, wait, and they talk to somebody, and they're like, "Well, we don't usually do this, but let me go talk to someone." And then they come back, and they're like, "Okay, you're all set. We reset all your licenses or whatever." It's just kind of a pain in the ass. So, but the thing I like about Google Play Music is, and anyone can do this, you don't have to pay for it. You can put your own music in the service.
Yep.
And so, like, one thing that everyone should consider if they're going to do Sonos or whatever, and if they care about music and have music that is not in other services, or they just don't want to pay for a streaming service, is you can, still haven't done it, but you can create Sonos playlists that draw from multiple services. And so you could put all of your music up in Google Play Music for free, your own music, and you could create and then subscribe to Apple Music or Spotify or whatever it is. And then you could create a playlist in Sonos that pulls music from each of those places. And so it kind of replicates what I do today only with Google Play Music, which is that I have combinations of subscription music and my own music.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It's kind of a hard thing to explain, but it's one of the appeals. It's one of the little things that kind of makes Sonos acceptable.
Yeah.
As a whole house thing for me.
So I'd be curious to see how much money you spend in that rabbit hole. I've spent far too much over like 4 or 5
I mean,
years.
I do already have 4. Yeah, I have 4 Sonos speakers already. My daughter is glommed onto 3 of them, but yeah, I know. We just have one in the bathroom. It's kind of stupid, but I like to listen to stuff when I'm shaving and getting ready and
Yeah,
stuff.
no, I get it.
So yeah, yeah. Oh, and I mean, well, the next thing, I mean, not the very next thing, but at some point, like I said, I'm gonna test these other things first, but at some point I'm gonna have to get a Sonos something. I know there's two generations. I think a Sonos Connect and Sonos Port, maybe.
There's like a port and an amp. I'm not.
Yeah,
as
the amp I don't
familiar
need
with that
because the
stuff.
speakers are powered. So that will, I'm gonna save all kinds of money by not buying that. But it's gonna cost somewhere between $300 and $450, like just to use the speakers I already own with Sonos, which is like a little bit grating, but you know, if it works,
Yep.
I do want it to work, and it's better than spending. I think it would be $1,000 on two Sonos 5s.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which, by the way, I'm curious. I think they used to have a Sonos 3. I don't know why they still don't have a speaker in that range, because there's the Sonos ones are the size they are, little bookshelf speakers. Sonos 5 is humongous, and it feels like there should be a thing in the middle. You know?
I don't know. They used to. I think you can still buy them, but they haven't made it in a long time. That's kind of why I would worry about recommending that play bar to anybody, because it seems like it's going down the same path.
Yeah, I don't want to buy. Yeah, I don't want to buy like, even if I could get it like new, even I don't know that I would buy a 3 right now, but I kind of wish there was a new 3, because I would at least want to test it and see where it landed. You know.
So there you go. I hope people wanted an audio show, because that's what they got.
Well, I mean,
that's what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly thought I was going to spend the entire weekend working on the stupid printing thing. I just didn't expect it to work.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the thing is, like, when he published this book, the Windows Forums was different, and they've completely replaced a lot of the controls since that time. So, like, the way you do menus and status bars and things like that is completely different than he documents in that book. So I was like, well, I got to go to this effort, and plus I'm converting between the languages, so it's like it's a pretty good chance something is just, I'm just not going to figure it out. Like, it's just but it worked, and I was like, you testing it different ways. I'm like, holy crap, like this actually works. Unlike everything else I do. So that was nice.
There we go. You got anything else for today, Paul?
No, this week, I think right now is the BET show in London. That's that education show. I believe it's underway right now. There would probably be some minor announcement. There already was one today from Acer, the education devices. We already got some of that last week, but usually you get some kind of a here's how we're doing an education post from Microsoft and or Google. And I'm kind of curious about that stuff, obviously, but I don't know anything about it. I heard from Microsoft already they didn't have anything like that, so I don't know if that's forthcoming or if they're just kind of not talking about it, which maybe would be news in its own right.
Yeah, they did mention, I thought, something, because they put out, was it last
week? There are
week?
numbers, but see, what they're not saying is like they said something like the one milestone, well, the one metric they provided was that Windows 10 was the #1 platform in K through 12 education. But I don't think that's new. I think if I had to go back and look, I don't think that changed year over year.
Gotcha.
The thing you want to kind of look at is growth, right? Like Windows 10 sales in education were probably flat or even down year over year, because they didn't talk about it at all. So I guess we'll see what Google says, if anything. I don't know.
We'll find out. We will find out. And, well, folks, we should be back tomorrow, unless another holiday sneaks up upon us.
Oh, God, please. That would be so good. Maybe we just work Tuesday through Thursday.